Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good morning, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the Wood TV Live Desk. Hope you're having a great day and a great start to your Friday. Well, we are just a few weeks away from the primary elections here in the state of Michigan, and there are a lot of things to keep in mind before you head out to the polls on February 27th, and we're going to be answering a lot of those questions that you might have right here this morning. Joining us today is Grand Rapids City Clerk Joel Hondorp. Joel, thank you so much for being here today.
Bill, it's great to be here.
Yeah, we're very excited to obviously answer a lot of questions that I'm sure a lot of people do have ahead of the February 27th election. One thing we do know, and the stats kind of back this up, is that a lot of people generally do vote for the general election, but the primary elections, there's a little bit less of a turnout. But this year, for people that maybe this is their first time, we got a lot of new voters from the last time we had a primary election. I mean, what are some of the big differences between this primary election and a general election that people need to keep in mind before they go out and cast their votes?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. And my daughter's one of them. She's turning 18 on February 13th. So she's registered, ready to go. Mm-hmm. So I have a student that's really impacted at this time too. So what's different for this election is this is a presidential preference primary. Voters will have to choose a Republican or a Democratic ballot. It doesn't register you as a Republican or Democrat. It's just what preference do you have for which ballot do you want for this election? So there will be a Republican ballot and a Democratic ballot. There might be a third option if your local school or local taxing authority or a zoning issue. There may be a third option. So if you don't want to vote in the Republican or Democratic primary, that third option ballot may be there.
And Joel, one other big thing that a lot of people are going to have questions about is obviously registering to vote. Now, you can register ahead of time, or you can register at your polling location. There's a lot of great information that we have for you right now over on our website.
Let me clarify that, Phil. You cannot register at your polling location.
Okay. Yes.
So that's very good question.
Yes.
So up until February 12, you can register online. You can register at the Secretary of State's office. You can send in your voter registration form in the mail. From February 13 to February 27, and if you want to vote in this election, you have to go to your local clerk's office, either your city or township clerk's office, in order to register to vote for this election or change your address. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you go to your polling location and you're not on the list, then you may have to go back to the clerk's office to register to vote. Then you may vote that day.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad we brought you on, Joel, because that was a question that I didn't even know about. So I'm glad that you were able to clear that up for any confusion, especially for myself. But when people do go out to register to vote, whether it's ahead of time or at their clerk's office, everything they need to know. I mean, what are some of the things that they need to have on hand? Some things that they need to be prepared to answer?
Well, here's the biggest thing. Before trekking down to your local clerk's office, go to michigan.gov/vote, michigan.gov/vote 3 times, michigan.gov/vote. Go on there, because some voters don't know that they're registered because we have automatic registration in Michigan. So you may not have thought, well, I've never filled out a voter registration form. Because you have a driver's license, you most likely are registered to vote. So check the address to see where you're registered, especially for like college age. A lot of our college age students are a resident, maybe in city of Grand Rapids, because they're going to GRCC or GVSU. However, they might still be registered at their home address. But if they've been a resident for over 30 days, they can register to vote in the city that they're in. So it's a good chance. Go check michigan.gov/vote. There's no reason to wait for the last minute. It's really easy, especially if you do have a Michigan driver's license, to update your stuff at michigan.gov/vote.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And Joel, kind of switching over now, as the city clerk, you guys handle all the elections. Is there anything that you guys are kind of keeping an eye on for this primary election that maybe you want to kind of make it a little bit easier on the voters than maybe past primary elections, or maybe anything that you guys are maybe have a few concerns about at all?
Well, we would want to make sure that voters know that to make a plan. We have new options now with the passing of Proposal 2 of 2022. There's 9 days of early voting. So voters have three methods in order to vote. They can vote by absentee ballot. Those are available now. You can go to michigan.gov/vote. You can apply for an absentee ballot. If you already got an absentee ballot, you can see on there if we received it. So one stream is an absentee ballot. The second stream is early voting. So from from February 17 through February 25, you can go to an early voting center and you can vote your ballot, and you can actually put your ballot through the tabulator. And then the third stream is going to your local polling location on election day. You can find all that information. Here we go again, michigan.gov/vote, or go to your local city or township's website to find out where those early voting centers are. So for example, in the city of Grand Rapids, we have 3 early voting sites, and any resident or any registered voter can go to any of those sites. You don't have to go to your local precinct for early voting. Those 3 sites for us are going to be Ottawa Hills High School, St. Peter and Paul School, and GRPS University. So if you live on the west side, but you work out by Beltline and 28th Street, you might want to go over to the Ottawa Hills one. So it's a little bit different, but and it's over 2 weekends as well. So it's not just strictly election day anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, and Joel, again, we do really appreciate you stopping by and really answering a lot of these questions. But, before we let you go, obviously there are maybe some other unanswered questions, a little bit smaller on the scale of importance probably. But, do you have any other tips, anything else you want to kind of remind voters of before the February 27th election?
Yeah. We do ask for your photo ID. So if you have your photo ID, bring it with you. If you happen to forget your photo ID, you can still vote. You're going to fill out an affidavit on the back of your little application form, swearing an oath that you are who you say you are. So don't panic if you forgot your photo ID when you go to the early voting site or to your local polling location. If you're going to register to vote in person at a clerk's office, make sure you have a proof of residency, either a phone bill or a check stub or something so make sure you bring that with you too. Do your homework ahead of time. This election's a little bit easier. You just have the Republican, Democratic, and maybe a third option. So it's not all the 30 different things that we have in a general election, but go out there and do your research ahead of time. What we find is, especially in a November election, is voters get through all the candidates and then they get to these very long, confusing proposals, and it really stumps them. So that's why we say know before you go. And I'll give one more plug for michigan.gov/vote. You'll find your polling location there. You'll find a sample ballot. So really, plan your vote and know before you go. Those are kind of the 2 big tips for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, Joel, again, we do appreciate you stopping by. I do want to remind everybody that Joel did mention the very helpful website. Well, you can also find a link to that right now over on our website as well, woodtv.com. Our Facebook audience can go ahead and click in the description box or the comment section. You'll find that link right there. Joel, one last time, thank you so much for stopping by today. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Phil. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning into this latest edition of the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.